Great to see all of you here, and also all of you in cyberspace out there. Can everybody hear us that's joining virtually? If somebody can you hear us? Okay, very good. Okay, so happy October, happy fall. Can't believe it's almost time for Halloween, but I hope everybody's having a great semester. For me, it feels like it's going extremely well. I hope that's your experience, and we can talk in just a few minutes. Our HCCC team just returned from the annual conference of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, or HACU, that was held this year in San Diego. We didn't pick the spot, but it was an okay place. Joining me at the conference were students Marlene and Dahlia, Leandra Kunsel, and Justin Mosquera, and our colleagues Joe Caniglia, Diana Galvez, Dr. Darrell Jones, Eurus Pujols, and Dr. Allison Wakefield. This was an inspirational convening of over 2,500 faculty, staff, students, a few trustees from throughout the United States. It was one of the biggest conferences I've been at, even pre-pandemic, and it was a record attendance for them. These were all on ground. More important than that is, I'm happy to tell you, not surprisingly, but Joe Caniglia, Diana Galvez, and our students offered an outstanding and well-received presentation about our HCCC learning communities to a large standing room only audience that was very engaged in the whole presentation. And I know that Dr. Pam Bandiapatier played a role in developing that presentation. So kudos to them. We all enjoyed the opportunity to share and learn about best practices in supporting our nation's Hispanic and Latino communities and beyond. And I'm going to be reaching out to Dr. Antonio Flores, who's the president and CEO, and his staff to invite them to come here. We've had several folks come here for full-day visits recently. I think they would really, it would be a valuable experience, certainly for us, and I think for them. So stay tuned on that. At last evening's meeting of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Burl Yearwood led a presentation about a variety of initiatives and best practices in our division of STEM. There's some really exciting things happening there. And joining Burl to share their perspectives and experiences were our faculty colleagues Faisal Al-Jamal and Rafiq Siddiqui. And also it was a pleasure to welcome back HCCC alumnus Stephen Cronin, who's a graduate of our cybersecurity program. Stephen's currently finishing his bachelor's degree at NJIT. He has a really good job in Manhattan, a full-time position that he'll be moving to. And so I want to just say, Burl and team, thanks so much for sharing with the trustees and others the inspirational work of our STEM faculty, staff, and students. Partially as a result of a conversation that I had several weeks ago with Michael Furlise, I'd like to try something a little different today and kind of flip how we do this. In order to encourage time for participation from more members of the HCCC family, I'd like to begin today by opening the meeting to questions, comments, concerns, celebrations. We can discuss whatever topics our community members raise, and then, time permitting, we'll call on colleagues to offer the usual reports and updates. How does that sound? And then after we do this, I value your feedback on whether you like this model or the previous model or some other model going forward, since we're now back into a more on-ground experience and sort of into our new normal. So at this point, we welcome your questions and comments. For those here in the Scott Ring Room, please remember to use the mic so that everyone can hear out in cyberspace. And for those joining us virtually, please raise your hand and we'll call on you when it's your turn to speak. Questions, comments, concerns, celebrations. We have Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen, for breaking the ice here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Fleming.
Is that on?
For students, for physical health and wellness. food that's in the interior supermarkets in Hudson County. So they will be here for glucose. Going through all the courses that is a somewhat the personal fitness training students. That's okay. You guys can't hear me.
Oh.
Oh no, that big speech and the people over there couldn't hear me. Thursday, 11/17, glucose screening, nutritional counseling here at Journal Square, and that will be in the Student Center. Upstairs, we will have some privacy for the screening, and downstairs to greet people. Tuesday, 11/29, CPR, hands-only CPR and AED practice for everyone. It's not a certification, it is for everyone. Do you hear me, security? Do you hear me, everyone in the audience? They have these hands-only CPR practice modules in the airport. We will have them here. Paramedic students are helping, exercise science, personal fitness training, and any other student in the audience who wants to help is welcome to help if they know how to do chest compressions. Okay, so I'll have mannequins on the floor, mannequins on the table, and we'll have the practice AED, the automatic defibrillators. Okay, and that's Tuesday, 11/29, here at Journal Square, and dates for North Hudson in February to be announced.
Thank you so
Questions?
much,
You're
Kathleen.
welcome.
You know, thanks for the inspirational work you do to serve others. It's really phenomenal. Others? I can call on people. Are there any like discussions you'd like to have? Any topics of interest for us to bat around a little bit? I'm going to share one that's kind of a topic that I'm hearing discussed for reasons that are not surprising. Our Division of Continuing Education and Workforce Development has been phenomenally active and successful. I mean, really to a true level of excellence and inspiration that we should all be very proud of. And is Lori on? I hope Lori's, she's at a conference. We have a bunch of people at a conference, but you know, they're doing best practice work. They're reaching out and partnering with so many important communities that have traditionally not been adequately served by our community college sector and now are. And I think it's a real tribute to Lori and the whole team. You know, Lori's area of responsibility has grown as a result of their true entrepreneurial outreach and leadership. They have written a whole myriad of grants. Much of what they're doing is grant funded, which of course brings resources to the institution, but also allows us to serve a much larger part of our greater community than we could just in our traditional programs. And the success of this area has changed in a number of ways. Financially, when I arrived 4.5 years ago, this was the whole area of continuing ed and workforce development, which was then doing great work, was actually costing the college money. In other words, there was a net cost associated with what they were doing, but it was worth that cost because they were serving a lot of people. Now they're serving, I'm going to guess, fivefold as many organizations and people or more. They're generating for our college a net of $1 million and growing each year. And that's money that goes to our bottom line. That money doesn't just go to continuing ed to continue doing what they do. That money benefits our mission, our institution. In other words, it's a hugely important part of our enterprise. And, you know, traditionally, early in my career, I was responsible for non-credit programs at Lakeland Community College in Mentor, Ohio. And at that time, there was this very clear delineation between non-credit and credit, sort of like the old student affairs, academic affairs split. And the two never met, and there was always sort of distrust on both sides, and this stereotype or perception that what's done in non-credit isn't really very important. That's history. Best practice institutions are increasingly seeing the continuing education workforce development part of the college's mission as mission-centric. And we're no longer, if you're a best practice institution, just dividing non-credit and credit. The best practice is integrating the two so that what we're doing, let's say, for example, in the work we are doing that is statewide, that is distinctive statewide with the operating engineers, just to say one example. The operating engineers are physically located in the Middlesex area, and that's their corporate headquarters. They receive very significant training that's part of their union apprenticeship program that leads them to become journeymen, which then provides a skilled occupation that really pays family-sustaining wages. But we've recognized that the training they're doing, that the union is providing, it's all industry-recognized training. It meets industry-recognized standards. In other words, it's credit-worthy for us. It absolutely meets our standards for that technical education. So we've partnered, just as one of many, many examples of, I think, really best practice work. We partnered with the operating engineers. We're providing 30 credits of recognized degree credit for the union apprenticeship program that they are involved in because it's creditworthy. If they pursue then an associate degree here in technical studies or construction management, depending on the area, they can continue here online through our partnership and do 30 more credits around their schedules that, by the way, are fully paid for by the union and by the State Department of Labor. And they earn an associate degree. And then what does that mean? They're now on a track. If they decide in the future they want to go on, let's say, with that technical skill set, the journeyman may decide someday, you know, I think I'd like to have my own business. I have the skill set, but they're going to need a bachelor's or even beyond. They've already finished an associate. They can go right on, and those credits will articulate, and they're on a path, if it's of interest to them, to a world of new possibilities. It used to be, you know, if you did that, we didn't give credit for apprenticeship programs, even though they're high level, high quality, best equipment. You'd have to start all over if you wanted to start a degree. That doesn't serve students, the workforce, or the nation well. And some of the best jobs in technical areas are those that are available to people who have the technical skill set and work experience, who can then move into management and business ownership if they choose. So it used to be you had to pick, right? I'm going to go the academic route or the technical route. Not anymore. And I think that's hugely important. And it's a model for the state of New Jersey. So, and there are just so many more examples that I could share. The reason I'm sharing this is these are non-traditional approaches that don't always fit squarely into our traditional credit model, right, of 15 weeks of instruction. And that's why they're flexible and we can do things that meet the needs of students, of business, all win-win. But I want us to recognize that this is an essential part of our mission, and it's an essential part of what we as an institution stand for, which is when we talk about inclusion, it means we're including everyone who has an educational need that we can address and that fits within our mission. We're also part of a national best practice grant-funded project that I think AACC is helping lead and support, that is looking at best practices in aligning non-credit and credit instruction. It's the non-credit and credit alignment lab project. And so, what we've also done is where we're offering, let's say, non-credit certificate programs that meet industry standards or that meet an accreditation or excellent standard. Students in that area who want to go on to pursue, let's say, a credit associate degree and then be on the pathway to continue on, they can move on our ladder, on our career pathway ladder, from the non-credit piece that is industry recognized right onto the ladder in an associate degree program and actually receive credit for part of what they've done in the non-credit area. So this is something we should all take pride in, and I just want to say, it isn't ancillary, it isn't sort of aside and not a part of the mainstream of our mission. It is at the center of our mission. And I think increasingly, if you look across the country, best practice institutions are realizing more and more that what can be done in the workforce development areas can be critical to the excellence and welfare of the institutions in our national community college sector. And in fact, if you look at the National Clearinghouse or the Community College Research Center, all of those data suggest increasingly across the country, the most popular thing happening is short-term micro-credentials. It's not our traditional associate degrees. It's the stuff I'm talking about. So I just wanted to have this opportunity to say, we should be embracing this. We should also be celebrating it. I know there have been sometimes concerns about this doesn't fit into what we normally do, and is this not serving the institution? Is this taking energy or resources away from our mission? And the answer is no, it's quite the opposite. Now that I've said all that, and I'm sorry I said it for that duration of time, I welcome comments on this. I think it's a really important topic we don't talk about very often. I'm sorry Lori can't hear it. Maybe it's better she can. Any thoughts about that? Yes, Kathleen.
Does it work? Okay, it works. This is an observation. So I think it was last month, Dr. Reber and a couple people, Jose Lowe was there, and one of the students, Javier Pratt, was with us. We were at New Jersey Reentry Corporation, the President's Training Center, where Hudson has space. But the biggest draw on what Chris was just talking about was the welding certificate, the welding education. And I wanted to say goodbye to him, but he had a line of people from the community who were like knocking each over to talk to him, to tell him how excited they were about this. It was amazing. So maybe some might think it doesn't meet the mission of what we do, but it meets the needs of the community.
And that is our mission, Kathleen.
It is. We're a community college. You won't get me started on that one. We'll be here all day. But I just wanted you to know that the community is extremely excited to hear that there will be welding education available from Hudson to them.
Thank you. Do we have someone on the web that wants to speak, Willie, or did I misunderstand you? Sorry? Okay. Okay, go right ahead. Yes.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
Yeah.
I did want to give a shout out to Essex County Community College. That's where I transferred from. But they had a similar program where it was the Youth to Work transition program, where it was taking high school students and putting them in their freshman year at Essex, and also training them to become a physical therapist aide or a CNA, which is a certified nurse assistant. So what they did was, for me in my experience, during the pandemic in 2020, it was a summer program where they gave us credits, college course credits. I believe it was 12, 16 because we did summer as well. And they trained me to become a physical therapist aide. And yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to a program that seems very similar. I do know that year we did have to search for funding for the next year because of the pandemic. So I heard about some of the other programs in New Jersey, like welding, that had similar training systems. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to
Remind
Essex
us
as
of
well.
your name again?
My name is Brian Rivera.
Yeah, Brian, thank you.
No problem.
He's on our academic senate. Excellent. Perfect. Yes, if you should come up. Thank you.
When you're in a college environment, you always have that tendency to put your hand up. So, but I wanted to thank you for the shout out for Continue Ed. I am one of their lecturers, and I have been here for the past 5 years, and I have gone out to the employers' locations to teach their people. That type of work and the type of processes we use have made us very popular because now we're getting inquiries from somewhere in Trenton. And my question was, well, did you talk to Mercer County Community College and let them know that we're invading, we're taking over? And that recognition has also come to our department because the Association of College and University Educators came here to interview a lecturer from Continuing Ed about the processes that they were using to deal with students. So I want to just thank you, and also thank the college for supporting continuing education and workforce development.
Thank you so much. Others? Yes, Nicholas.
As Chris knows, I'm a huge Laura McGowan fan, but I do want to give a shout out and thank Dr. Jones and the deans, because the reality is that as this program is expanded, especially the 4-credit side, we've all been learning along the way, and each of the deans have been very helpful in contributing to this program to Laura's success. So I do want to thank you all. We've had a lot of conversations. Not all of them tense, but hour can be difficult. But no, I do want to thank everyone. It goes to this idea of Hudson being home, Hudson being a family, this idea of working together. So I just want to make sure we recognize everyone.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah. Who do we have, Willie?
Veronica has her hand raised.
Okay, go right ahead. Can you unmute if you're muted?
You're good to go, Veronica.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I had a phone call as well. Hi, everyone. I haven't done a big update in a while, so bear with me sometime. I just want to give a shout out to our student life and leadership team. We've had an amazing September, a very busy September. So I want to share out some points of pride and some shout outs as we get ready. Well, we're already in October, but just to share out with everybody. So in the month of September, if anybody has come to any of our recent events, we have instituted Event Pass, which is our new way of checking people into events. We're hoping to get rid of the paper sign-in sheets and get everything more mobile and electronic, and also will help us to keep better data and stats. So in the month of September, we held 44 events. And as a note, that's just in the 38 days of class, because we had a couple of holidays in there, or 28 days of class, sorry. And then the total amount of attendees for all of these events, 5,400 combined. And with our event pass, we've actually been able to kind of break that down a little bit and learn that we've had unique attendees of 2,329. So just in the first month of the semester, we have already engaged over 1/3 of the student population and about 200 faculty and staff. So that is no easy feat, and a big shout out to our office for doing this. So I do want to take the time to thank them and shout them out by name. We have our full-time student life and leadership staff, of course, myself, Angela Tezzo, Delphin Ganapin, Jave Hall, our part-time event assistants, Kesha Taylor, Natalie Bentoncourt, who is our social media intern. If anybody follows us on Instagram, Natalie is behind a lot of that work. Kiri Hernandez, Sally Elwer, Christian Rodriguez, Paulina Sanza, Joe Series Polanco, Kamaline Santos, and a shout out to our Student Center Info Desk assistants. So if you ever come into our Student Center, you'll see these student employees as well as our peer leaders, Atrell Johnson, Berva Pinto, Jana Roberts. And then lastly, shout out to our peer leaders, Hannah Allen, Kadiatu Kamara, Leandra Cancel, Mitesh Kalathia, and Omega Dickerson. So a lot of the people behind all these events are those names. I want to make sure they get the shout out that they deserve. So also some upcoming events to give everybody a heads up on. If you want to know what's coming up, involved.hccc.edu is the place to go. We have our SGA Town Hall meeting later today. Hopefully all join us. I know Dr. Reber, Dr. Doherty, Dr. Clark will be joining the SGA as we give updates from the student perspective and then answer some questions. This Thursday, we have our Hispanic Heritage Month comedy show, 6:30 p.m. in the Student Center, open to everybody and guests. Come on down. On Tuesday, our Latin Society is hosting a Latin fashion show at the North Hudson campus, 4 o'clock. We have our Fall Fest coming up, North Hudson, on the 19th of October and Journal Square on the 22nd. It's on Us Sexual Assault Awareness Week coming up the week of the 24th of October. A drag show and panel coming up on the 26th of October. Our Halloween costume contest has launched. So if you have any students, try that out. They could win some prize money for their awesome costume contest. SGA is hosting a Halloween party on the 28th of October. And we have an international fashion show happening at Journal Square on November 4th. Our DEI SPP has launched as well, Diverse Equity and Inclusion Student Passport Program, with our 27 participants. This semester, we've welcomed 157 new students into our chapter of the National Society of Leadership and Success, and our Aspire Leadership Conference in conjunction with the North Hudson campus and enrollment. Shout out to Angela, Joe Canicli, and Matt Bessler is happening in November 14th as well. So there's a lot of amazing people making a lot of amazing things happen, and always like to showcase it off. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Veronica. It's just, it's incredible how much happens outside of the classroom here. It's a real tribute to you and your team and really the whole college community. And I'm looking forward to the SGA Town Hall after this one. Other comments or questions or concerns? Yes, thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Zakia from the Center for Online Learning. I have a question, please. What is the college plan about remote learning? Are we gonna make remote classes as one of our modality for forever, or it's just like an effect because of the pandemic? So how long are we gonna still offer remote learning?
Well, I'll answer your question from my perspective, but I think that's also really a college-wide question. I know Matt's gonna offer an update in a little while. I think remote, no, there's no plan to discontinue remote learning. It was a necessary tool during the pandemic, but I think it clearly plays a role, and where it will play a role in our ability to provide access to students who need a form of online learning. We'll certainly continue to do it. I want to make sure, we have this sort of dichotomy here between online and remote. And, I've not seen this in other places where I've been as much as I've seen it here, where our college community, this is my perception, you can tell me that I'm incorrect about this, but we tend to define remote as fully remote, as completely synchronous, and that plays a role, that modality. But remote also, in terms of best practices, the synchronous piece doesn't have to be the 100% modality for course instruction. And I think, increasingly we're likely, if I'm following the literature and even what our guest speaker said not too long ago, we're going to be seeing probably more opportunities emerging in what I would call hybrid education, which combines, the traditional fully online with some synchronous instruction. And, there's some institutions right now that the classroom is both all the time, where you've got students coming in who can't be on ground for the on-ground course. So I think we can grow as an institution in how we use the technology in these modalities and grow in a way that maybe appropriately blurs or integrates what right now is either fully remote or fully online.
Okay.
Does that
you
make
for-
sense?
Yes.
I
it does.
welcome other comments about that. Yeah, go right ahead. We need you at the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Zakia, great question. And Chris, to your comments, remote does have a place in higher ed. There are ongoing conversations with the deans to determine the actual percentage of remote classes, online classes, hybrid offerings. But to Chris's point about the mix of hybrid, that's definitely needed. And one of the things that wasn't shared, that we like to listen to the voice of our students and to determine what's best for them and what's convenient for them and what's pedagogically sound in terms of offering for the institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. Other comments, questions? Thank you. Marlene, fresh back from San Diego. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Sally. I'm sorry.
Hi everyone, my name is Sally. So since the semester started, our SGA representatives have served on the committee meetings, college council, and hosted and attended the board of trustees. And we want to give a shout out to all faculty and staff for being so welcoming and helping our students. Your work truly does inspire us, and we do appreciate everything that you've done to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Sally's our SGA president, for those that don't know. Thank you. Other comments or questions? Here we go. Come on up, Tejal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Good. Happy to hear. With that, on Sunday, October 9th, we went to the breast cancer walk at Liberty State Park, both the EOF program and Phi Theta Kappa. So it was such a great celebration to be able to walk for this important cause. And we're hoping that we continue to have Hudson County Community College making this official and having this opportunity to walk together with different departments and the college itself. It would be a great thing as we continue on with many more walks this year. So we wanted to just give a shout out to both programs, and thank you all.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's inspirational. Others?
Albert, do you still have a question?
Who do? I'm sorry.
Albert Williams?
Albert? Can you unmute Albert?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wheeler. Can you
Sure.
guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the conversation about the apprenticeship opportunities that the college has begun to engage in. I am not sure if the college community is aware, but Hudson is an apprenticeship sponsor. And so we've undergone a process by which we are now registered with the United States Department of Labor. And we have the ability now to sort of customize any apprenticeship opportunities that employers may want to have with us, or in fact, on the credit side, if any of the disciplines are interested in having apprenticeship opportunities for students, we now have the capacity to do that. So I don't know if the college community is aware, but we are an apprenticeship sponsor.
Very good. Thank you, Albert. And, an example would be the work we're doing with Eastern Millwork.
Correct.
Which is really also considered to be sort of a model. Others? Okay. Well, we have time remaining. So I'd like now, if I might, to invite several of our colleagues to offer remarks, and we'll continue to keep the opportunity for you to ask questions. I would say we have an unusually large number of colleagues who right now are at conferences, some of whom are offering presentations. So some of the folks you hear from will not be here today for that reason, and we also have some folks that are sort of new to giving reports. So I want to start with an update from Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones.
Come up there.
Yep.
Chris, for this opportunity to share some very important updates with the college community. And it's this time of year that I like to really give a shout out to kudos to all of the great things that are being accomplished in academic affairs. And I want to just acknowledge those people that are doing extreme things in the professional development space, beyond the halls of Hudson County Community Colleges, beyond the state, and beyond the region also. In advance, I apologize if I omitted anyone in academic affairs. I must be honest, the trove of accomplishments was coming in literally 5 minutes before noon. So please bear with me. If someone is omitted, some professional accomplishment, please let me know and I can make that right. So first and foremost, one of our newly appointed tenure track instructors, Marissa Lontock, recently completed her Master's of Higher Education from St. Peter's University. Congratulations, Marissa. Dr. Nadia Headley was featured in the September edition of the New Jersey Business Magazine. The actual form was the Women Business Leaders section. Laura Riccadonna's painting, Another Man's Treasure, which is an awesome piece if you haven't seen it. I think she is sharing it with colleagues and others. But the piece was selected to be part of a 4-year exhibition at the United States Embassy in Brazzaville, Congo, Africa, as part of the U.S. Department State of Art in Embassies program. It's an amazing piece. Once again, congratulations, Laura Riccadonna and Jeremiah Typin are currently exhibiting several of their pieces as part of the extraordinary still life exhibition curated by Midori Yashimoto at NJCU. Both professors Riccadonna and Typin will give a public talk on their work this Friday at NJCU. If you're available, please reach out to them for the particular time of that event. Professor Joseph Gallo has been asked to join the main stage ensemble at The Moth, which is a nationally recognized storytelling company. His documentary play, Yuppies Invade My House at Dinner Time, which documents the gentrification of Hoboken in the early 1980s. It is slated to open at the Miles Square Theater in March of next year. The Girl Who Got Frozen, a film written, produced, and acted by students in Professor Gallo's Acting 2 capstone class, has had a world premiere at the college. If you haven't seen it, it is available on the college's portal. Richard Walker, lecturer in humanities and social sciences. His peer-reviewed article was recently published in the Journal of Criminal Justice and Popular Culture. It is entitled Foot Patrol, Neighborhood Watch, and Football, an analysis of college criminal justice student willingness and confidence in law enforcement to engage in community policing. If I had to say that again by heart, I could not do that. Dr. Clive Lee recently presented at the local American Chemical Society ACS conference on his research about biodegradable materials. He was certified as a lead-based paint inspector, and his article on plasma-initiated graft polymerization and carbon nanoparticles as nano-based drug delivery systems was recently published in the international peer-reviewed multidisciplinary journal, Biofueling. Congratulations, Dr. Lee. Katie Sweeting, Associate Professor of English, who we know recently returned from her Fulbright Scholar experience, is presenting at the NISOD Virtual Fall Conference. The title of her workshop is Becoming a Fulbright Scholar. I think Lalisa Williams will join us later today or add information about our institutional college registration, whereas everyone can attend the NISOD Fall Conference for free. Katie's presentation will appear on Thursday, October 20th at 1:10 p.m. Kathleen Smith-Winning, who also shared her experience where she volunteered in Oaxaca City, Mexico. She also recently was appointed ombudsman for the Institute of Public Strategies. She completed the Foundations of Organizational Ombuds Practice in preparation for the international certification. Congratulations, Kathleen. Assistant Professor Faisal Al-Jamal attended the Southeast Center Hub of Academic Excellence designation. He was there to receive the Certificate of Cyber Defense awarded from the National Security Agency. Hopefully he had an opportunity to listen in to the Board of Trustees meeting last night. Faisal, Dr. Yearwood, and Rafi Sadiq gave a great presentation along with an alum who came back and really fortified what they shared with us. So some great things continue to happen in all of the divisions and also in STEM. Joseph Caniglia, as we've heard, presented at the October 2022 Haiku Conference. The title of his presentation was Learning Communities Increase Student Success for Hispanic Students. And Dr. Reber was not kidding when he mentioned last night, it was standing room only The room was packed. It was engaging. Dr. Pam, thank you very much for your contribution to the presentation, which made it the best it could be. Yours was in the room, who added to the presentation also. Dr. Wakefield, thanks for being there in support of Joe. Cecily, can I have you stand, please? She says, oh my gosh. So I'm asking you to stay, Cecily, because many folks don't know you yet. They have probably seen the name, but haven't really seen a face. So I want to put a face with the name. Cecily McEwen, who's an instructional technologist of multimedia specialist, has presented a research paper entitled Instructional Visual Communication at the Ed Media and Innovative Learning 2022 Conference. She also presented the same paper at the 28th Annual Technology and Learning Conference in September. Cecily, thank you for all of your contributions in such a short time with the college. Thank you. And as Chris alluded to this week, Lori Margolin, Associate Vice President for Continuing Education and Workforce Development, along with Dr. DeVries, Dean of Academic Affairs and Assessment. They are presenting at this very moment at the National Council for Workforce Education. This conference is in Portland, Oregon. I'd like to get there someday. Their presentation is entitled Removing Barriers and Building Successful Pathways for Incarcerated and Reentry Students. So I'm sure that they will share their learning and share their research with the college community at some point soon. Matthew LeBrake, Executive Director for the Center for Online Learning, is part of a cohort of learners participating in the Institute of Emerging Leadership in Online Learning. This is a network of online learners in higher education who are focused on improving and advancing the impact of digital learning in all aspects and all formats of education. Michelle Vitale, who is not a part of academic affairs, but this is a really cool accomplishment that she has. She's Director of Cultural Affairs for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. She created Woolpunk, which is a 30-foot embroidered photograph for an exhibit at the Montclair Art Museum in September. She partnered with the museum to create a community clothing drive and stitch the donated textiles into the photo to bring attention to landfill waste. It's an amazing piece. Michelle and the project were recently featured on WNYC's All of It with Allison Stewart. Dr. Wakefield, thank you for your support of the opening exhibition. Dr. Pack was there, Nicole Johnson was there, and I believe Robin Singer was there also, and I'm sure there were some others that I did not have a chance to meet during the exhibition. Michelle, thank you very much. And for the fall semester, several of our colleagues continue to enroll in the AQ cohort to advance and to perfect their pedagogy. Those currently enrolled are Andrea Siegel, Angela Tuzo, Kathy Seidman, Cindy Wilson, Daniel Odenke. Daniel's in the room. Hello, Daniel. Fatma Cora, Haney Zaki, Jasmine Matag, June Berrier. I think June was in the room. Hi, June. Laura Samuelson, Lisa Boyer, Maria Scherter, Nakia Santos, Patricia Barrero, and Kumar Raza. Dr. Jeanne Baptiste recently received the AQ Advanced Certificate Badges and Medal. She also presented a workshop on identifying and supporting at-risk students. Dr. Robeson, thank you very much for your staunch leadership and all that you do with AQ and the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation. Thank you. And on Monday, October 17th, very important note for our faculty, notifications for the 2022-2023 Philip Johnston Award will be shared with the college community, so please anticipate that announcement coming out on Monday. As a reminder, the Philip Johnston Award celebrates excellence in teaching and is generally sponsored once again by Philip Johnston, who served as chair of the college's foundation and also he's currently a board member. 2 faculty members will be selected via nominations from their peers, and we once again will have an outside judge to review all of the nominations to make that determination. Each award carries a $2,000 recognition, so by all means, please, please, please self-nominate, have a friend, have a colleague nominate you. That's a lot of money. Last year's recipients were Dr. Fatma Tat and Dr. Sirhan Abdallah. And on the behalf of Dr. DeVries, let me share a bit about Achieving the Dream and the things that are happening there. Again, Achieving the Dream Leader college application was submitted on September 30th. We are told that we should hear back by the end of November with an update. And as a reminder for the college, when we talk about Leader College, it's really the hallmark of the ATD experience, and is to recognize exemplary institutions that have identified and implemented strategies that have proven to be successful over time. The designation of Leader College status indicates that every person who is affiliated with the institution is committed to ensuring student success for all of our students. And I think once we get that designation, we already know where we are with that in terms of our commitment to students. It just underscores everything that we do. In our application, we have highlighted significant growth in the following two metrics. The college's gateway completion rate for math improved by almost 10 percentage points, and the math English combined gateway completion rate improved by almost 9%. And the college's four-year completion rate improved by 3.4 percentage points from 18.5 to 21.9%. And a presentation proposal on Hudson Scholars was submitted for the Dream 2023, which is held in February in Chicago. The presentation team includes a student. Thank you, Dr. Gretchen Schultes and John Ergola, for their leadership in completing and submitting the presentation proposal. They should be hearing something very soon to discuss this in detail. Nominations for the Dream 2023 Scholars are due to ATD at the end of this week. As a reminder, 2021, Pedro Maranchel was selected as a Dream Scholar and was engaged in specializing programming and networking opportunities through Achieving the Dream. To date, I'm being told that there are 4 applications for Dream 2023. Dr. DeVries will get off a plane and begin reviewing those applications right away. And last reminder, Mary and Renee are ATD coaches. They will visit at the end of the month, October 31st and November 1st. The Dream team discussed different ideas for a student success focused professional development event during their visit. The event will be followed by a celebratory lunch and more details to follow. So I take this moment, if I omitted anyone, if there are any academic, professional, or non-academic professional accomplishments that anyone would like to share, we can entertain that for a couple of minutes now. I'm sure there are many more out there. Okay, thank you all.
Wow. Oh, there's a hand raised. Who do we have?
Oh,
Michelle?
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to add that the gallery was nominated for an Arts Education Award from the Jersey City Arts Council, and I'm hoping that everybody can sleep with their fingers and their toes crossed that we get the award. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent. Congratulations. Okay, well, Daryl, thank you so much. That's what a phenomenal list of, scholarly accomplishments. It's great to hear that. We don't talk enough about who's all the folks that are involved in scholarship and presentations and really great work. I'm remembering that pre-pandemic, we used to have an event, I'm not remembering what it's called, where we would invite people who had attended conferences or had done presentations to share that work. I'm wondering if we could resume that, because there's a...
Sorry, there was a suggestion.
Yeah.
To re-engage that, so we're looking to do that.
I think that'd be great. Thank you so much. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Lisa Doherty to offer an update on our fall enrollment and our revised ad procedure for spring. Lisa.
Okay. Hi, everyone. That is a tough act to follow, Dr. Jones. So I have just 2 updates for you. Number 1, our fall enrollment continues to grow even since the 10th day due to quick term enrollment and the 7-week sessions that start on October 26th. So please do continue to encourage students to register. And I believe John Scanlon and Darrell Jones sent their beautiful report this morning sharing what sections are closed or close to being closed. So here's your not so subliminal hint to open more sections. Thank you. So that's exciting. So October 26th, 2 full weeks still to enroll for Online B, plenty of time. So I wanted to share, for those that were not at the ACC, John Scanlon and I presented on this new recommendation for the ad procedure for the spring, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because I realize not everybody goes to ACC, not everybody comes to a town hall, and we really want to make sure this is widely communicated. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. You can check your phone, look on Facebook, and multitask while I'm speaking. But this really is important. It affects students, faculty, the college, enrollment, revenue, policies and procedures. So we often get reports from faculty that students are joining classes after they've already met once, sometimes even twice, or they register late, they don't have the books, they don't have the materials, their Canvas shell isn't available yet because that takes 24 hours. Our front desk staff often are very torn because the policy says you can register up to 2 weeks after the class, after classes begin, but they know in their hearts that it's not in the best interest of the student to put them in a class that's already met. So it's something we've grappled with for years. So we put together a work group to sort of look at this and see, like, what is the impact when students register late? Maybe we just think it's a big deal and it's not a big deal. We also, I think, have this impression college-wide that so many students register late. All of our students register late. So we decided to make some data-informed decisions and recommendations, and John Scanlon, of course, came to the table with lots of data and graphs, and it was pretty clear, and we can certainly send out the slides and the numbers for those who would like to see them, that students do not do well when they register on or after the first day when the class meets. GPA-wise, withdrawal F&D rates, retention to the next semester. There's nothing good comes when students register late or miss the first class meeting. So this group looked at all of this data. It was faculty, staff, I believe we had students, and we made a recommendation, and it's the way that a lot of colleges are going in terms of student success, to not have students register on or after the first class meeting, unless they have an exception and permission from a faculty member. So this was a pretty much a unanimous recommendation from the group. Once that we saw the data, we couldn't really make any other recommendation because we'd basically be saying that it's okay for students not to do well, just so that we can register them later and help our enrollment. So we have a group meeting tomorrow. So basically, in a nutshell, classes start, let's say, on January 23rd, which is a Monday. So if I'm a student and I walk in on Monday morning and I want to register for a class that meets for the first time on that Monday, even if it hasn't met yet, even if it meets at 3 p.m., we will not register that student. The student won't be able to register themselves. And we will say to the student, well, great, we're happy you're here, we're excited to have you, but unfortunately that class meets today and you won't have the book, you won't have the materials, you won't have the Canvas shell, you won't have gotten your announcements from your professor. It's in your best interest to register for a class that doesn't meet until Thursday, or meets in the quick term, or meets in the second 7 weeks. So we are certainly not going to turn a student away. We are going to do everything we can to get them into a class. If, let's say, there's only one section of a class, and I always think of Karen Hosick. So let's say that exercise science class only meets Monday at 3, and that's the only chance. Then the student can approach the faculty member, get permission to be added to the class. So the faculty will certainly have the ability to allow students into classes that have already started. And a group is meeting tomorrow to iron out that procedure. So how's it going to happen? How will we know who has permission? Who's going to process it? So more to come on that. And we will present that at the next ACC meeting. And then we will be advertising and marketing this like crazy. So I'm going to mention it in the town hall today with the SGA. Sally got herself invited or voluntold to the meeting tomorrow to provide student feedback because it affects students. We've trained them to think that you can register for classes for 2 weeks once the term started. So we really do have to do a whole educational campaign with them. So you'll see flyers coming out and open forums and town halls and just any way we can communicate to students that this is something we're not doing to you. We're doing this for you because we know that your success is important. It's more important to you. It's important to all of us, but it's really for their long-term success. So nothing will change in terms of online is already like this, right? Online, usually you only have that very day to add a class. So nothing will change with the drop date. Students will still have the full time to drop because we want to make sure they at least attend 1, maybe even 2 classes before deciding to drop. So that will remain exactly the same. And I will point out that the students that register late the most are new students. So we will be doing some targeted outreach to them through Matt Fessler and the admissions team, and new students who register late persist at a much lower rate into their next semester. So All in all, it's the right thing to do, but we definitely need to be proactive in making sure everyone is aware and making sure we have plenty of course options and offerings when students do show up that first week of class. So I believe the schedule goes live on Monday. So maybe this week I can encourage the coordinators and deans to take a look, maybe add some quick terms, cancel some 15-weekers, just to make sure we have plenty of availability.
Question, please.
Yes.
How the new students will know which faculty to reach out if they are not allowed to register?
Great question. We are going to meet tomorrow. So we will, yeah, we're going to meet tomorrow and have an entire procedure for feedback from students and faculty. I won't even share kind of what I'm thinking right now because I don't want to alarm anyone, but I'm thinking we can use some technology solutions rather than like emails and running around to buildings and chasing down people. So I'm thinking we make it quick, simple, some sort of a workflow where they know exactly who to reach out to for permission.
This will be effective this spring semester? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Allison. Great, the more the merrier. I'll forward you the invite. And if anyone else has experience with this at other schools, or you just have a real interest in how we're going to do this, please reach out and I will certainly forward you the invite. We really want to make it simple for everyone, for the students, for the faculty. We're not trying to create, a bunch of red tape just to get registered for a class. So we will get back to you with that procedure. Any other questions? Awesome, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So the revisions to the drop procedure, certainly as Lisa indicated, are supported by our research and literature on student success best practices, and they address concerns raised by members of our community last year. And Lisa, we greatly appreciate your leadership and the engagement of colleagues throughout the college for making these changes in support of student retention and student success. I do, though, want to also just provide a caveat and just some comments about going forward. What we have seen, and this has been pointed out by several, I think I heard Michael Furlise point it out, I heard Chairman Netcher point it out last evening at the board meeting. We know there's a strong correlation between students who register late and non-completion or non-retention. We don't know that that's causal. We don't have the evidence that that's causal. In other words, could it be that students who tend to register late tend to not be as prepared and tend to not do as well? Or is there a cause-effect relationship? I think, my own hunch is it's a little bit of both, but we need to keep teasing that piece out as we gain experience with this. The other thing that I really want to emphasize is, as Lisa noted, we want to make sure we're prepared to be offering a number of options to students who aren't now going to be able to register late. And one concern that I have about that is that if we just throw out, late start options, we could be not serving students well, because if we're asking students who have an otherwise full schedule to now add a 7-week course to that full schedule, it's making it harder for them, not easier, generally speaking, to be successful. The short-term duration courses work well, I think it's been demonstrated, when a student can do their entire experience or their entire program that way. But when you start commingling 15-week courses and then adding an intensive course, it may not serve students well. So we have to be mindful of these pieces as this goes forward, and keep, as our data coach, Renee Garcia, always says, go drill beneath the surface in looking at these issues. But I think it's the right next step for us, and let's keep measuring how we're doing it and keep looking at continuous improvement. Lisa, with regard to enrollment, last I looked, our overall fall enrollment day-to-date was up between 1.5% and 2%. Are we still in that range? 1.5%. Putting that into context, in fall of 20, we were down double digits, well into the double digits. Our new student enrollment was down 40% in fall of 20. And we have gradually, since then, been seeing an upward trend of returning to a place where enrollment is stable. Last spring, we were level. This fall, we're up just a smidge, but we're up. But what's really important, again, drilling beneath the surface of the 1.5% that we're up this fall, we're up big time in new students and in college and high school students, as you're going to hear in a moment. And of course, that really bodes well for our future. And I think also, you know, the fact that we've now brought a second cohort of Hudson Scholars, 900 more students on top of last year's 800, bodes well from the retention point of view. So I think the trend lines are moving in the right direction in terms of being up with new students, and we're continuing to see that needle move on the retention side. So this is the result of everyone's work. Enrollment management is truly the outcome of everyone's work. So I would say congratulations to our entire HCCC family, and let's keep the momentum going. And as you've heard, Dr. DeVries and Lori Margolin and Dr. Schultes are attending conferences where they're presenting, but John Argola is here, and I'm pleased to invite John Argola to now discuss the significant progress of our Hudson Scholars Program.
Thanks, Dr. Reber. Okay, I feel like talked to death about our program from last year. I'll just mention quickly, we are very happy that we met our benchmark for fall-to-fall retention. But now we're looking very much forward to this new group of students that we brought in. The original number that we invited was over 900 after some of those students moving to EOF and some of those students not ending up fully enrolling. Right now, our cohort is at 831, so still a really significant number. So as you know, I do most of the assessment around the program. In addition to just enjoying doing assessment, it's important to me that we do this so, not just so we know that things are working and that we're doing things well, but how we can do things better. So we tried to learn a lot of things from last year and apply them to this year. So for instance, a couple of months ago, I was in this room talking about how this new population, what we are going to try and do is pre-schedule them for their first appointment. We wanted to have a very personal, initial outreach. So as opposed to last year where it was a little bit more generic, this year students got an email directly from their counselor that said, you know, we're really excited to have you at Hudson County Community College. You've been selected, not do you want to participate, but you've been selected to participate in the Hudson Scholars Program. I'm going to be your counselor. And you and I have an appointment scheduled on this day at this time. We wanted to create as easy of an on-ramp for these students as possible. So it was, I believe, on August 8th. Whoever had been enrolled as of August 8th got this pre-scheduled appointment. We had 65% of those students who were pre-scheduled attend their first appointment. So just to give you some context, last year, that's an increase of about 35% from the students who attended their first appointment last year. That is very important because here's what we know from last year. The more you met with your counselor, the more likely you were to be retained, the higher grades you got, the more likely you were to pass your classes. Just attending your first appointment last year meant you were 35% more likely to be retained fall to spring and 38% more likely to be retained fall to fall. So if you would have applied the rate of that yield rate to this population from last year, there'd be 86 fewer students who would have met with their counselor. That's 86 more students who are now infinitely more likely to be retained and succeed. So that's one of the things we learned last year. Engagement with the counselor begets more engagement with them. You come to that first appointment, you're going to be more likely to come to the second, the third, and you're going to be more likely to stick around and succeed. Additionally, we just sent out 4,500 progress reports to faculty. I want to give faculty a shout out for this because that is such a major component of this program. I just checked. I sent those out. Gretchen and I sent those out 8 days ago. 25% of those requests have already been completed in less than a week. That's all due to the faculty taking that initiative. So why is that important? Once again, yes, I think it speaks for itself that progress reports are helpful. However, I'll just give you a little data bite for you. I looked at all the progress reports that were submitted last year. The students who got a negative report that either said they were at risk of failing or they needed additional assistance. Comparing those students to students who got, let's say, a D or an F or a midterm grade that was at risk of failing, getting a progress report warning made you 138% more likely to pass the class. So these were students who were identified to be at risk of failing that class, that immediately initiated an action from their counselor and follow up with the faculty. Students took action. They were 138% more likely to pass that class anyway, even though early on in the semester they got a warning that they weren't succeeding. They were still more likely to pass that class by the end of the semester than students who only received a midterm grade. So I'm not suggesting don't submit midterm grades. Those are important. Please do it. But progress reports, or the benefit we have of those, they stay open. You can do it more so in real time, which I think is a little bit more representative of how progress takes place. And I'll just say this, I think this is a model that maybe we want to consider scaling up to the entire population, as opposed to just something that's more of a one-off thing that happens at the middle of the semester. And then last thing I'll say, other new things that we learned, students were clamoring for more opportunities to interact with other students, events, and things like that. So far, we've had meta-major mixers. I have faculty in the room right now that I know have been participating in those. Students have gotten so much out of it. They sit there, they get to ask questions with faculty and other people in their meta majors. We've got more of them coming. We also have a pizza with the president coming up soon. So things are going really well with our new cohort, and we're hoping to see similar success. And then one other thing I'll just mention is Dr. Reber, myself, Gretchen, and Trustee Lee are going to be presenting at the HCCC Leadership Congress at the end of October about Hudson Scholars. So looking forward to that. Thanks. Any questions? Sorry.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. So we're continuing to see that the fall to spring and fall to fall retention rates of Hudson Scholar students, cohort 1 and soon to be cohort 2, are significantly above those of their non-Hudson Scholars peers and at the level of EOF, which means that they're generating what I call student success net revenue by virtue of the tuition that's paid for students who are here rather than having not continued. That more than pays for the program costs. So I see us, based on all the metrics, continuing to scale this up to hopefully ultimately all students going forward. Very, very, very exciting. Next is also exciting, my pleasure to invite Dr. Chris Conzen to offer an update on our early college program, which is also moving in really positive directions. Chris.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's been a long time since I've done one of these here. It's nice to see everyone. So I'm going to make this pretty quick. I did, Lily's got my, oh, it's on the other screen. Oh, I can't see it. All right, so it's good I printed it out. So just wanted to give you some quick, oh, I can see it. See, I told you, it's been a long time since I've done one of these. All right, so early college updates. So fall 2021, our head count was sitting at 401. I was sweating to get it over that 400 number. Fall 2022, our head count currently is at 583, an increase of 45%. Could smidge a little bit more since we still are enrolling for online B, but you know, I'll rest on 583. So I also wanted to bring in the fall 2019 comparison as well, because that was kind of the high watermark for us, and also pre-pandemic. So the pandemic obviously impacted so many levels, but it also impacted us because our high schools just weren't able to put the energy into also having their students participate in some of our programs, and so pulled back. And we are seeing some of the ramifications of that because we've graduated out some of the final cohorts from a few of our programs, and are hopefully bringing those back in. All right, so now on that new student number, you'll see in 2021, our new student headcount was at 221. This semester, it is at 382, an increase of 73%. And again, that was because of some new partnerships that we developed this semester, some increasing cohorts for dual enrollment. And, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact, and Chris had mentioned earlier about the kind of cross-divisional collaboration that is really a highlight here. And, I have to say that in all my career in higher ed, this is the most collaborative work I've been a part of, because it takes everyone in so many different areas. My colleagues in the academic departments, registrar, bursar, and of course my team who works extra hard as well. So, it really does take that village to make sure everything's in place. And so again, the fall 2019 comparison, new student head count, we were at 304 that term. Credits, fall 2021, we were at 2342. Fall 2022, our credits are at 3340, which is a 43% increase. And what I found really interesting was looking back at 2019, our credits then were 2282. We actually had an increase in credits from 19 to 21. So that is actually a great sign, because it's showing that we have more students taking multiple courses. So it's not just one-offs. We have students who are, and that part of that is our degree pathways, which I'm going to wind up with here. So as we currently stand, a high-tech degree cohort, they were our first group and still going strong. We have 82 total students who are on a pathway to either earn their environmental studies degree or science and mathematics. And we have 56 just in the 9th and 10th grades. We could still add to that number, because for the students who are pursuing science and math in the DFAB Academy, they technically don't need to begin until 10th grade. So we could definitely, and we have some students who have told us they're interested, but haven't been registered yet because they're not taking any of the dual enrollment classes that are a part of the program there. Bayonne High School has just entered their 3rd year of their cohort, so we're at 40 students total. Their 11th graders are now on campus taking classes as well, and so that's going to be the part of their model. And then that group will take pretty much their most of their senior year on campus as well. Kearney High School begins their 2nd year, and they've got 34 students in their cohort. And Innovation, our newest group, we've got 16 students in their 9th grade cohort. So we're excited that Innovation came on board. It kind of helps to make up for some of the high schools, the Jersey City Public Schools, that we did lose during the pandemic. Also, for those who are familiar with Jersey City Public Schools, they've had a lot of teacher turnover over the past 2 years, and so that has impacted some of the ability of our partners to start new cohorts, but we do have the interest. So we have 172 high school students at this moment who are in a degree pathway, and we're currently in discussions with Ferris, Lincoln, and Dickinson. Dickinson was also an environmental studies cohort, so they're hoping to start bringing folks back in. They've had leadership turnover there, and Lincoln is really interested in possibly either pursuing something along the lines of early childhood or criminal justice. We do have students from Lincoln who take criminal justice courses in the fall, a course in the fall and spring right now. So, any questions? All right, thank you.
Chris, that is just fabulous. This is our future. And just to clarify, I think I'm right about this. The 172 students are currently in their high schools pursuing a pathway that will lead to their earning our associate degree upon high school graduation. 172. This past May, we celebrated 38 students who had completed their degree at one of, I think, 4 high schools. Eventually that number's there's going to be a little bit of a lag time or drop off while these students work their way through to 12th grade, and then I think we're going to start to see a really fabulous. We're going to have, yeah, we're going to need 2 stadiums. So thank you so much, Chris. The combination of our continued upward trend in new student and early college enrollment, coupled with our increasing success in supporting and retaining our students, I think bode extremely well. This is a major piece of it as well. Next, I'd like to call on Yuris Poulos and Jose Lowe to offer a DEI update. Lalise is not here today, but we thank her in abstention for all she continues to do as well. Yuris and Jose.
Thank you so much, Dr. River. Willie, do you have a presentation for me? No. Okay, good, because I wasn't planning on using one. Thank you. First, I just want to reference something that Chris mentioned about our attendance and participation in conferences. It's almost a regular theme. Every time we talked about, hey, HACU, AACC, he's like, okay, are we bringing students? And this has become a theme that we've been able to bring students to those programs. So I was fortunate to have attended the HACU conference that just ended on Monday, and we brought 3 students with us. Leandra, Justin, and Marlene, they participated. They had their own student track. And just most recently on Monday, we were searching for ghosts and entertainment. We went to the old city, old town San Diego. Unfortunately, we did not find any ghosts, but we ended up eating in a really nice Mexican restaurant. So the experience, it was excellent. I want to thank the students for attending. I want to thank the Student Life and Leadership team, Veronica Gerosimo, Angela Tuso for organizing and supporting this. And of course, Joe Knigler and Alison Wakefield for participating in essentially everything we did. We had dinner with them every night, and I think it was a really enriching experience, not just for the students, but also for us as well, to interact with that experience. When it comes to the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, it is hard to believe that we have hit our 3-year mark. So some members are stepping off, some new members are coming on, and as we look back and reflect on the accomplishments, we've developed goals, strategic goals, right? And we have a whole process mapped out to that. We developed a really nice action plan that really falls right in line with the strategic plan of the college. We've been working at it for a year. And, again, as we look back, all of those individuals have participated, have been instrumental to getting us there, and it's really exciting. I will provide the general update of what's happening at the organization related to DEI at the office. Since Lisa's not here today, I'll provide a brief update of the work that is happening in Goal 1 and Goal 2, and then I'll pass it on to Jose to talk about the other goals. So first off, cultural affairs. Dr. Jones talked a little bit about that. The gallery has a most recent exhibition, Your Home is My Home, features 5 contemporary visual artists and Jersey City poet laureate and the Rescue of Poetics. The exhibit also includes 4 artists from the Foundation's art collection. The exhibition celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and runs through November 14th. If you're able to, please, pass by and attend. I think it's a wonderful program. Also at the gallery, you will get an opportunity to meet St. John's University's Professor Alex Morel and acclaimed artist and educator Onel Nar. They will discuss their art and practice and the history of the island of Española on October 26th. At 11 a.m. in the gallery. Again, the island of Española is the island that is shared between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. There's a lot of history there and a lot of, a lot of discussion and a lot of learning opportunities for our community. So again, I encourage you to participate. Also, guest DEI speaker, and it's Your Home is My Home artist, Maria de Los Angeles, will also visit the college on November 17th at 11 a.m. at the gallery. And she's a Yale University graduate and current art professor, and she'll be discussing her journey as a dreamer and, her experience as an undocumented student there. So, that's also a very powerful opportunity. I want to recognize Michelle Vitale, all the recognition that Dr. Jones mentioned, she's part of it. Her art is being recognized, the college is being recognized, and, all of us are there. And that speaks to her commitment and, her value on art. There are also a few other items that I wanted to bring attention to. This Friday, Sarah's daughters is Domestic Violence Prevention Foundation. They're going to be hosting their annual gala on Friday, 7 p.m. in Bayonne. And Hudson County Community College has been recognized as one of those entities that dares to act, And that speaks to our work serving the diverse communities of Hudson County and, everything that is happening. And, you could list the ways in which we're helping, right? Also, I personally, I grew up watching the Hispanic State Parade of New Jersey. That happens every year. It's been happening for the last 47 years. And it starts in North Bergen, right in the park. And it goes through the towns of North Bergen, Gothenburg, West New York, and it ends in Union City, very close to where North Hudson campus is. So Dr. Christopher River, Jose Lowe, Rafi Minjikian, myself, and like about 20 of our students are going to be participating. This is the first time the Hudson County Community College will be actively involved in this parade. We're actually going to be in a float. And, you know, instead of us sitting in the street, as I've done as a child, looking in, I'm going to be one of those. And people will be looking at me, so, and all of us. But, you know, it's great. And I also want to, I'm sure he probably will mention in his remarks, but Matt LeBrec, you're probably going to mention a name coach. I think that has a lot of implications for DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a software that has been embedded in the Canvas shelf. The students could actually record the pronunciation for their names, how they prefer to. I really appreciate that. Like, you know, with a name like mine, you know, like you could see how there could be a lot of value to that. And with that, I just want to go to Goal 1. Goal 1, again, deals with programs and training opportunities. We haven't had that many meetings over the summer as we're kind of gearing up, right? But we're planning for speakers, what type of speakers we're going to bring over this year. As Veronica mentioned, the Passport program began on October 3rd. And this program is being held in 2 different modalities. One is going to be on ground, and another one is virtual. Because, you know, now we're at the stage of the grant that we need to come up with a sustainability plan, right? So we're going to see what works, what doesn't, so we make sure that we're able to wrap that up. For the 27 students that are participating, 15 are in the online format, and 12 are participating in the hybrid version. Also, Cornell University, we have 21 people currently involved, you know, in the program. I don't have their names because there's some transition here and there, but as they complete the program, I'd also be sharing the names with the group. And for next year, we still have 82 spots available. So, you know, if you have not participated, they know that there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to do so for next year. And of course, we're also working with a sustainability plan that we will be able to offer this program in-house once these when these programs run out. Goal 2, again, we have not had that many meetings, but we have, you know, as new membership comes in and we continue to work on the goals, this is the goal that deals with screening committees, essentially human resources practices, screening committees, promotions, right, and so on. So we have a great opportunity to work on this, particularly as the Evergreen project has yielded an employee classification system. We have a structure, right? And, you know, something that the president always says, our commitment to continuous improvement. Now it's in a great area, a great time for us to engage it and see how, you know, we could continue providing support to that. So more to come on that. I thank you for your time. And now I would like to pass it on to my partner, Jose.
First, I would like to say felicidades en el mes de la patria. For us Latinos, Hispanic Heritage Month, we're in the midst of it. Just like you just stated, we're gonna be celebrating this weekend, this Sunday, with 20 students. We want to get more, hopefully they will be there. And we were supposed to celebrate on October 2nd, but due to the weather, we have to postpone it to this upcoming weekend. So we're very happy for that. Real quick, before I go into my subcommittee report, I just want to say that on November 8th, we'll be celebrating first generation Tri Alpha Honor Society that celebrates the accomplishments of first generation college students, also faculty and staff. So if you're first generation faculty and staff, please let me know so you can get an invite for this tremendous and important event for all of our students, not only for low-income students, but also students who are first in the family to get the accomplishment of yearning for a college degree. So subcommittee number 3 has been meeting throughout the summer. They're planning a security info session for this fall semester. Currently working with John Scanlon on the data for our last climate survey to create a new survey on incident and safety and security reporting.
They're also working with Mr. Yuris Pujos on the Title IX initiative, so that's also very important. Group 4, I'm very happy to state that Professor Elena Winslow and the Hudson Helps program department are putting together a parent forum for our students who are parents, and that will be held on Thursday, October 27 at 1 p.m. This is an important forum because it will give a space to our students who are struggling, balancing both being a parent and also a college student. Inviting also faculty members and staff who also are current parents themselves, also trying to balance both things. So please make sure you read, just look at the email and the invitation that we're going to be sent out shortly. Also, a survey was administered earlier in the semester on how do faculty members feel about DEI, and the data out of that survey is rich with information. We're waiting for us to get the information so we can share with Vice President Pujos and Dr. Weber and Dr. Jones, so you guys firsthand glance on what the faculty members are saying about the efforts of DEI. In the spring 2023, we're looking at creating a faculty DEI showcase where the faculty members are going to expand some of the findings of this survey that we discussed earlier. And that's pretty much it on my behalf. Thank you very much, and enjoy the day.
Thank you so much, Yuris and Jose, all involved in PAC Day, everyone who contributes to our DEI initiatives, and that would be truly everyone. Sorry we're running a little late, but I want to now call on Matt LeBrake to offer an update on initiatives in the Center for Online Learning. Matt, sorry to keep you waiting so long, but thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Weber. Greetings, colleagues. It's an exciting time for online learning here at Hudson. We currently have 10 online programs that are fully online and over 100 courses currently in place. The Center for Online Learning has been working hard alongside our academic divisions to develop new courses in a variety of disciplines. And over the next few years, you will see new online programs emerge in education, public health, medical billing and coding, cannabis studies, entrepreneurship, computer science, and cybersecurity. Expanding access to online learning is essential to our mission as a community college, providing members of our community with equitable access to an education they might not be able to obtain otherwise. We're providing our students who are working multiple jobs and raising children with a way to take classes at night in their free time. We're providing students with health concerns or lack of transportation with a means to access an education from the comfort of their home. Data from OLC and Bayview Analytics in spring 2022 shows that 76% of students nationally express a preference to take fully online courses alongside their on-site ones. And at Hudson, we're going to be prepared to meet this increasing demand for convenience and flexibility. As the COL plans for continued growth in online learning, much of our focus is on ensuring a holistic online student support services, making our content and courses more accessible, and providing professional development and training to our faculty. I'd like to highlight just a few happenings forthcoming in fall 2022. We have rolled out 2 new technologies this semester that are integrated into Canvas to improve the online learning experience. AutoLock is our new online identity verification and remote proctoring tool recommended to ensure academic integrity in high-stakes exams such as midterms and finals. Back in February, I asked Dr. Robert Kalm to form and lead a college-wide task force of faculty and staff to evaluate remote proctoring solutions with a focus on privacy, security, and user experience. And AutoLock was the group's unanimous choice, and a successful pilot took place in 7 courses last semester. The product is now available to all faculty who wish to use it. The COL is contracted with AutoLock for a Tier 2 live proctor pop-in level of service. AutoLock technology monitors each student's online exam session and alerts a live proctor if potential academic dishonesty is detected. A remote proctor can then review the situation before entering the exam session via chat to address the student. AutoLock ultimately does not determine whether cheating took place, but rather reports suspicious incidents to the instructor for further review. The vendor provides 24/7 service and support, and the COL is now offering weekly trainings on this technology. We've also acquired a new technology that Yuri's mentioned, Name Coach, in collaboration with ITS and Student Life and Leadership. NameCoach creates a more inclusive classroom environment by allowing students and faculty to record an accurate pronunciation of their names in Canvas for easy playback by their classmates. Just a couple of weeks ago, we heard Dr. Michelle Campagna, our convocation keynote speaker, talk about the importance of remembering student names and proper pronunciation as a strategy for more holistic teaching. And with technology such as NameCoach in place, students in courses across all modalities can easily record their name in Canvas with just a couple of clicks. Another area of focus for the COL this year is on developing a suite of multimedia services for faculty with a goal to create a greater sense of instructor presence in online courses. We're just finishing up work on a new video studio in the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation, which will allow us to produce more professional-looking content. In addition, many of you just met our new multimedia specialist, Cecily McEwen, who just joined the team in March. And Cecily is working with faculty in developing online courses to create engaging audio-video content with built-in interaction and assessment. And we look forward to seeing this work evolve in the years ahead. In closing, I just want to point an array of professional development opportunities coming up this semester. The COL offers 13 rotating virtual workshops focused on Canvas and other technologies to support online teaching, student engagement, accessibility, and academic integrity. Many of these workshops are scheduled over the next 2 to 3 weeks as we move into the start of our online B semester. So please do head to the COL website and check out our offerings and to register. We also have a couple of special events coming up as part of our best practices in online teaching and learning workshop series. On October 20th at 2 p.m., Michael Welpley and Sarah Teichman will be leading a presentation titled Enhancing Your Course with Virtual Library Collections and OER. And then in November, the Online Learning Institute will be facilitating a week-long workshop for Hudson faculty focused on creating effective discussion board questions and engaging online learners asynchronously in discussion boards. We'll also be releasing virtual office hours, virtual drop-in hours for faculty starting next Tuesday, and those will happen every Tuesday at noon. That's it from me. Thank you for your attention. On behalf of the COL, we wish you a happy and healthy fall semester.
Thank you so much, Matt. There's so much good work going on. We really appreciate your leadership and the efforts of the Online Learning Advisory Council and folks college-wide. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Chevalotti, would you like to update us on the tower project and parking? Great way to end.
Like you have a choice. I know we're in overtime, so I'll be very brief. The tower project plans have been submitted to the State Comptroller's Office. Hopefully by this time next week or the tail end of next week, we'll have authorization to go out to RFP for a general contractor. Once we do that, hopefully by the November 22nd meeting, this may spill into December or January, depending on the complexity of the responses, we will designate and award that contract and develop a full schedule for the construction of the tower. That being said, the financing has been put in place thanks to the generosity and the commitment on the part of the county. We have gap funding. So this project is literally shovel ready and we're prepared to go. We continue to work on other state and federal grant opportunities to lessen the exposure to county taxpayers, but we're moving full steam ahead. On the parking situation, I provided an update, and I know everyone received the flyer. The Harrison Park and Ride project is ongoing. We have a couple of takers. We will be pushing that out to more and more of our students, faculty and staff. If you live in West Hudson or traveling from the west or the south, the college has reserved a certain number of parking spots at the Harrison Parking Garage, which literally sits on top of the PATH station. So one, you get to avoid the wear and tear of driving into Jersey City. Two, the parking is going to be for free. We continue to have an agreement with the Lowe's here in Jersey City. So until they have a redevelopment project scheduled, we're working with the developer to understand that timing. As you can imagine, it's a massive project, so it's in a constant state of flux. But we continue to have capacity at the Lowe's Theater and would encourage faculty, staff, and students to take advantage of it. And in North Hudson, because at the ACC, I forgot to mention North Hudson, we continue to work with the city of West New York. That issue will hopefully be tempered once the construction of their parking garage is complete. Met with the mayor last week. That is on schedule. And that is really our best option up in North Hudson. I have received a couple of emails from faculty and staff with concerns. I would continue to encourage people, if you have ideas, suggestions on the parking, on the tower, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Very much. This is a huge amount of work. Last evening, the board approved or paying for those parking spots in the Harrison parking garage. So it's free to those using it, but the college is paying for it. So we hope for those of you who can make, for whom that makes sense, please take advantage of it. I think you go to our public safety office, you get a pass, and you can park there free. It's a 9-minute, I'm told, and I've done it. It's approximately 9-minute, one-stop ride on the path station, and I think that costs, what, $275 a ride? So if we have enough demand, we can potentially expand the 50 parking spaces that we are currently making available in this trial period. Are there any questions about that? Because I know that's an important topic to everybody before we go. We continue to leave no stones unturned in looking for other options going forward, and I thank Nicholas for his leadership. And sorry we ran over. I do welcome your feedback on what we did today and whether this is a better approach. Maybe we need to tighten the timing. Anna, did you want to say something? Okay, Anna, go right ahead.
Just a quick update. Join Tricia Clay at 2 p.m. For Make the Most Out of the WebEx meetings, which is part of our fall 2022 professional development series. And also in that planning calendar, you will find information about the NISAD conference registration, which is next week, Wednesday through Friday. It looks like we have a number of HCCC colleagues presenting at the conference, so we'll highlight those. Again, if you register through that special link, the conference is free, and it's for professional development, various topics. Feel free to check it out. I'll send a reminder, but join Tricia at 2 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, folks, thank you all. Thanks for your patience. Have a great rest of the day.